You know, almost every day, the truth about Trump comes out. Your man. You think he's a good businessman, but he claimed $916 million in loss in 1 year? That's not a good businessman. It really isn't. Most businesses would never exist again if they lost almost $1 billion. But he claims he's a great businessman. A great businessman does not lose that much money. Now, did he really lose that? Well, one has to wonder. But let's pretend that he did. That he has. On the one hand, he's saying he's a great businessman, but he lost $916 million. Then he says he's legally required to not pay tax, the smallest amount of taxes that he legally can. That's essentially what he has said. Now, we could examine all these things, and I'm sure that none of you would listen because, quite honestly, you can't handle the truth, just like a few good men. You can't handle the truth because then, if you do know the truth, then you can't in good conscience vote for him. And you don't want that. You want to have the excuse. Well, I really didn't know. Hillary was this, Hillary was that. But it doesn't work that way. Not with me. Now, let's look at this for a minute. He's a bad businessman and he's also a thief. Oh, people hate when I call him a thief and a fraud. Oh, I know you don't like that. What do you think a person who takes the services of our nation, uses them, and doesn't pay anything into education, or defense, or Medicare, or Social Security, or freaking making streets and bridges and whatever? That's essentially a theft of services. So you want to have a guy who doesn't pay anything, who thinks the mentality is that if I don't have to pay anything, I won't. You know, never mind that our country has infrastructure it needs to be rebuilding. Never mind that we have a national debt due to poor judgment of other previous Congresses and presidents. Now this guy figures, well, if I don't have to pay any taxes, I'm good. If I can cheat the American people, my fellow Americans, I'm good. You? You don't do that, do you? You pay your taxes. You gripe about it, but you pay them. But I guess most of you don't realize this. Even if he had paid his taxes, the wealthier you get, the lower amount of taxes you pay. Not only that, but because you have so much money, you get to hire attorneys and accountants and estate planners, and they find ways to make your money be tax-free and or hidden. Now you, on the other hand, you might work in a hospital, in a sterilization department, somewhere located in the Pittsburgh area. You might work in the medical field, medical supplies, or something around that. And you might have attacked me over the years. Always jumping down my throat. No, really. It's your own man and many, many women and men that cheat the system that you should be jumping on. But you want to vote for them. You think they're the greatest thing since sliced potato chips and sliced bread. Well, you see, that's the problem, America. I know more about this man than most Americans. And I learned it from Trump himself. But let's take for a minute. Do you think we have a great education system in America? If people like Trump and corporations and individuals were paying their legal fair share, or at a rate that is in proportion to the people such as yourself or me, do you know we wouldn't have hardly any debt at all? Now, a lot of people are going to say, hey, you can't prove that. It's called logic. It's called common sense. Maybe y'all have been listening to right-wing or even sometimes left-wing radio or media. It's called common sense. I don't think you actually comprehend that there are trillions of dollars in taxes from corporations, trillions, not being paid. You see, because corporations get tax breaks or 10 years off, like Walmart's famous for it. And for the record, I don't agree with everything that former President Clinton did, and apparently he helped them and they were instrumental. And I think even Bush, both Bushes, as a matter of fact, I think Obama touted Walmart. Well, guess what? I don't. They're a piranha also. They're a predator in a way, because they're leeching off the American people. But let's get down to the business at hand for a minute, if you have the guts to listen. Oh, I'm not going to be easy on you ever again, because I love you too much for that, spiritually. Look, if we look at GE, General Electric, and we look at people like Donald Trump, the pharmaceutical industry, the healthcare industry, the insurance industry, and a lot of other corporations, multinational corporations, collectively we are looking at probably who knows how many trillions of dollars that are not being collected. Now, let me say this. There's one part I agree with everybody on, Trump even. Yes, breaking news, Trump even. If our government don't do right and use the taxes for the right reasons, then in a way, I feel that no American or corporation should really be paying taxes. Yeah, you heard me. But this is the problem. That's not going to happen. You try not paying your taxes. You try doing a Trump deal. You'll be under the jail. Now, having said that, should the American people that are making less than $500,000 pay higher taxes? Yes. But should the American people that are paying that are making less than $150,000 pay higher taxes? I submit to you, no. They should get a tax cut. Those who have more should pay more. Oh, shut up. I know what you're going to say. Oh, picking on the rich. No, it's called common sense. Let's figure this out, like grown men and women, and let's analyze for a minute. If I have $10, I can afford to pay maybe, I don't know, let's say 10%. Right? Let's just say 10%. We'll say it would be, I don't know, I think it would be $1. I don't know. I am probably wrong on that. I'm not Mr. Math. But hold on a minute. So let's say for every $10, well, I don't think it would be $1. But it might be. I don't know. I think it might be. But at any rate, let's pretend that out of 10, I pay $1. So I have $9 left. Now that's a pretty high hit. That's pretty bad. Well, let's say I have $100. I'm paying $10. Now all of a sudden I have $90 more in my pocket than the other guy. I'm doing better. Now let's take it way higher. I'm making $200,000. And 10%, I think would be like 20 grand. I'll tell you what. I'll make a deal with you. All of you conservative people that are making less than $200,000, I'll tell you what. I would be willing to pay $20,000 and keep my $180,000. Now, isn't it kind of funny? If we all just pay 10%, you'd still be taking the hit. You would. You'd still be taking the hit. So, now let's kind of delve into one other thing. Let's look at Donald Trump. If he paid his fair share, And if he had a much higher tax rate. Listen, guys and gals. Let's pretend that Donald Trump has $10 billion. Let's just, for the fun of it, say that $1 billion was taken in taxes. Okay, $1 billion. Now, let's say they charged him $1 billion out of every $10 billion. He still has $9 billion, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you what, give me the $9 billion, I'll be glad to pay you $1 billion. You give me 9, I'll give you 1. See, because America, this is the problem. You've been lied to so badly, so often, for so many years. By both parties, but mainly the Republicans, let's be honest, and the Libertarians, and probably the Constitutionalists. We're talking about a man that would still have $9 billion. Or maybe I'm wrong on the figures. He would still have a few billion. Tell you what, I'll make a deal with you. Make me a billionaire, and I'll be glad to pay my taxes. How about that? Now, in all seriousness, I hear so many people complaining. I'm tired of people living on welfare and getting away with this, blah, 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 blah. Are you serious? There are trillions of dollars from this ultra wealthy and the ultra conservatives. I mean, not conservatives, corporations and multinationals and industries that are going elsewhere. That's right. We won't talk about welfare. Industry and corporate welfare is killing our nation. But at least you happen to forget something. These guys that are complaining, like Trump, oh, I pay no taxes. I have to get away with being a tax cheat. Look at where they live. Look at what they have. Look at their lifestyle, and then look at yours. Now, on the other hand, Hillary Clinton. Wonderful lifestyle. But she gives back consistently. And we're not talking a certain amount of money. She gives back every single day of her life. That's a fact. You don't have to like it. It's a fact. The biggest ideological difference between liberals, progressives, and conservatives, okay, is this. Liberals see the whole. We see the one. We care about all. I don't hate any Republican. I don't hate you. But I think you're really ridiculous that you would vote for a man who could care less if you were dead. I'm serious. That man wouldn't care if you were dead or alive. And for him to write things, it's his fiduciary responsibility as a businessman to pay no more tax than legally required. Why don't he just say, I don't want to pay taxes and I'm doing everything I can to get out of it. But yet he's making billions of dollars? I'll tell you what. As far as I'm concerned, he's the most unpatriotic American that ever lived. No, I can't even go there. You know what? I'm going to reject my own statement and rebuke it. No, he's not the worst. He's not the worst. I'm sure there's worse. But it's pretty darn embarrassing. And it's pretty disgusting. And I don't care if you like what I have to say. I really don't. Because when the truth comes in your face, sometimes you want to run. Sometimes you do. You're not running with me, brother or sister. No, sir. No, ma'am. I am not giving you a pass. Oh, no, I am not.